you're in good company. We were just in L.A. We interviewed Gore Vidal.
Okay.
And
wow.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet.
And
wow.
David Lynch is on our board of advisors.
Oh,
so we look for the
sure.
quirky or smarter
good.
cultured people.
All right.
Can you roll? Can you roll with that?
Yeah,
All
sure.
Right.
All right.
Joining us today, the actor Paul Dano. Paul, welcome.
Hey there. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, what are you listening to right now?
Oh, well, my best friend is here in New York, is moving to Colorado, and he just gave me his whole record collection yesterday. So I have about over 100 new records in our house. And last night we put on some Al Green records, and we put on some Grateful Dead records. I've been in this like Otis Redding thing recently. Sometimes I guess spring in the morning, like that just gets me. That makes me wake up on the right side of the bed, putting on Otis.
Otis is not a bad thing. I interviewed Jim Marshall recently, and he photographed every rock legend.
Yeah.
And I said, Jim, what was your favorite show? He said, Otis Redding, Monterey Pop. And he didn't even hesitate. There was like no indecision at all.
Yeah.
He was on the road with the Stones and Zeppelin and everyone. Otis is...
I've heard Otis Redding all my life, but right now is the first time that it's really like, got into me like in the right way.
Now with your band Mook, was R&B an influence, or did that come after?
Yeah, sure. I mean, everything. Truthfully, you try and steal a little something from everything. But I play with a few really good friends, but we all have different sort of musicians we look up to, and so I think we rub off on each other nicely, and the sound is a little eclectic, I would say. I think, and I think we all kind of come from different backgrounds musically.
Do you get any flack for being an actor who does music? Everyone.
I give myself flack. You feel like you have to apologize or something, but I haven't gotten any flack really yet. I mean, nobody. Not a lot of people know about my band. We just finished making an album, and now we're going to try and see if anybody wants to put it out and if anybody likes it. But that's the nice thing about this stuff. It's up to you. I'm not telling you have to like it or listen to it.
Right.
Just because I'm in a movie or something. It's up to you. I go to the bookstore and I buy the books I want to buy and the music I want to buy. So I'm just gonna try and do what I like, and hopefully self-validation will be
a pat on the back from some patrons.
Be most important. Yeah.
Well, you're director of this new movie, The Good Heart.
Yeah.
He's a musician as well. His music is in the movies, all of his movies.
Yeah.
Did you guys find a commonality out of the gate, or was that something you discovered later?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing that attracted me to the project to begin with was Dogger's other films. He's an Icelandic filmmaker, and I really liked this film Noi, or Noi Albanoi it's called. I thought it was really good, and I just thought he had his own personality sort of in the films, just a strange little viewpoint or perspective or whatever, and part of that, was the music. And when I found out he wrote the music for it, I went, oh my God, okay, so this guy, he wrote it, he directed it, he did the music. And some people, some people find ways to scoff at that kind of thing too. I think it's great, and I think he does a good job at it, and it certainly gave us a jumping off point. And I think we both have a bit of a Tom Waits obsession, and so I think that was a big jumping off point for us.
Yeah, and the movie does have that kind of Bukowski Waitsian vibe to it, for certain.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you, were you listening to a lot of Tom Waits during the?
I did. I mean, I always have. and certainly that atmosphere that you're speaking of is something that attracted me to it. In sort of a weird romantic way.
Oh no. Blood.
Well, I tried to tap into Icelandic music while I was in Iceland.
Sigur Rós.
Yeah, they're in Mum,
Yeah.
and a bunch of other people and offshoots of all these bands. In Iceland, there's a wonderful artistic community, and the government also subsidizes artists there. And they're just Reykjavik is a burgeoning little city of arts. It was really cool to get to spend a couple months there and be around that, and to see people really, the merit of success is much different than it is in America. Meaning a lot of these successful artists that I met there, they also had another job or a way of making income, and the drive behind what they were doing was not, commerce based almost, but it was still successful and appreciated, and it was fun to be around that.
I think we've hit that tipping point though with the arts, and I think obviously 300 million people, and many of them want to be artists.
Yeah,
kind of cutting through that digital noise, which leads me to the question: a fantastic movie, and I really honestly can say I love the movie, or else we wouldn't be sitting here. I'd have to wait till your next project.
All right, nice.
But how do you cut through all that digital noise when you have a movie that's smaller? Maybe it's not going to have the distribution points that the Hollywood system has.
Right.
Is this a word of mouth movie, do you think?
I think so. I mean, I don't think that the movie is trying to speak to a bigger audience than it's meant for, and I don't know if that makes sense, but I've in my experience, sometimes a lot of small films are trying to be a bigger film, or like you're hoping it's going to catch on in some ravenous way, and I feel like, this film is kind of meant for, a certain audience, and hopefully that audience will get the chance to see it, and luckily, it's going to make it into theaters, and that's actually really hard right now. And I have friends who are actors, writers, directors, and I'm involved, and you go to these festivals and you see movies, and a lot of them, it's hard to get them out there right now and cut through that, and the industry is definitely changing and shifting, as the music industry has, it seems a little risk averse right now, and so I think that there has to be, hopefully, and will be, a life for art house cinema. I'm not sure where independent cinema is going. I think that's struggling. And then there's the really big budget stuff, and in between independent and the really big budget stuff, I don't know what's happening with that, which is, like something like There Will Be Blood would have been that. And movies like that just aren't.
Right.
They're really struggling to get made, from what I can tell. I don't know how you cut through the noise. If I did, I would.
You'd bottle it, man. We interviewed John Hillcoat, who did The Road, and he said the same thing. He can't get his next movie done.
I know. I was supposed to work with him.
The gangster movie,
the Wettest County thing. Yeah.
And it's
great script. He's a very talented guy.
Yeah.
That made me very sad. Actually.
Yeah. I mean, when you hear this, and I was in Hollywood, meeting with some people about a project we're working on, and it's like, forget it. You have the movies today have to be a ride. They have to be like that Avatar ride, which is great.
Yeah,
but like you said, what happens to art cinema? And this guy, who is a very powerful, influential filmmaker, said Europe, Canada, co-brand, share whatever you can share. They seem to have the venues, the distribution points. But then I say, to counter that, we've got the internet, the word of mouth, the buzz. He said, YouTube moment in a movie. Find that YouTube moment that everyone grasps onto and say, wait, I got to see the movie. This is great.
Right, yeah, that's true. It's just funny because I find the movies that I really want to see in the theater are the hardest to